Getting started soon. Toss any links to cool stories into the Discord.
Oh, hi. Hello. How you doing? My name is Waldo, and I'm here to feel politics with you. How's everybody doing tonight? I am doing good. It's a little bit rainy outside, but that's okay. That's the way I like it. It's dark, and it gets dark at 3 p.m., and that's the way I likes it. So, I've got a handful of links to look at tonight, a couple of stories. We're going to take a look at Trump's very exciting cabinet picks and stuff like that, all the people he's putting in charge, and it's going to be a nightmare, but we're going to watch that nightmare. And then I got a couple of rants typed up because I had some time over the past couple of days to rant and type some stuff up. So if you are in chat, hop in there, tell me what you're thinking, tell me what you're feeling. Go to this Discord right here. You can leave links to I'll look at them. We'll bring them up on screen. We'll put them up in front of everybody, and we'll feel them all out together. It'll be a good time. It'll be interactive even. Let me double check my buttons right here. Yeah, there we go. All my stuff is running, and we're up and going. Okay, cool. And if we run out of stuff to talk about, we'll play a video game. I'll continue on with Halls of Torment until I finish with that one, and then we'll double back to Vampire Survivors, and then maybe that other one before we finish up Castlevania, because I started Castlevania, and I think I did really well on Castlevania Symphony of the Night during the election. It was a good time. I did quite well. I watched it. I was hammered, but I was still knocking it out of the park with the old Castlevania, because I'm really good at it. I've played that one like 1,000 times. So anyway, how are you? I'm good. Thanks for asking. Let's see what there is to talk about tonight. All right, what do we got? We've got split ticket voters offer some bracing lessons for the Democratic Party. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was surprised to see her New York 14th congressional district swing heavily towards Trump, even as the voters were shown strong support for her candidacy. So let's take a look. Hi, bowling fan. How you doing? AOC asked a bunch of her people, her voters, who voted for her and Trump at the same time, which sounds like a wild idea. I can't wrap my head around that one. I vote for Donald Trump during the presidency, and then for my House representative, I vote AOC. Why would anybody do such a thing? Sounds insane to me. But here is what they said. This is the important bit down here. Well, it's not the most sophisticated method of surveying voters. The responses were swift and candid. Here's what the voting people said. I feel you are both outsiders compared to the rest of D.C. and less establishment. That doesn't make any sense. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Establishment is whatever you feel like it means. And if you feel like somebody's an establishment person, they are. And if you feel like they're not, even though they've been in politics for a very long time, then they're not. Bowling fan, am I mad that Trump won? Yeah. I would rather him have lost. He should have lost. He is the bad guy. I do rather dislike it when the bad guys win. That makes me unhappy. So yeah, and I'll go as far as to say as I hate it. I will be talking about hate later in the stream. I've got a whole rant typed up. I've got thoughts and notes and stuff to put together. So stick around. It'll be a good time, I think. What else we've got? So what else did her voters say? Wanted change, so I went with Trump and blue for the rest of the ballot to put some brakes. This doesn't make any sense either. Whoever wrote this does not know how the government works. They voted for Trump for president, then AOC for the House. But the Dems lost the House and they lost the Senate, so there will be no brakes. Why would you vote for Trump but then put on some brakes? Doesn't make any sense. Both of you push boundaries and force growth. Push boundaries. Okay, I would accept that Donald Trump pushes boundaries, but not in a good way. He pushes them in the negative way. He pushes against things that are intelligent or smart. He fights against reality. And then force growth. Well, growth... no, Donald Trump doesn't force growth, even in the economy. He creates scams, So whoever wrote that is a maniac, doesn't know anything about anything. It's real simple. Trump and you care for the working class. Now, this one almost makes sense because Donald Trump does push fake populism. He pretends to care for the working class. He doesn't, not actually. He won't actually do any good with that for the people or the working class. He will simply cut taxes for the rich, pretend to cut taxes for the poor, and no tax on tips is what he pushed. But the majority of people who earn tips don't pay income taxes already. So they're not going to be getting anything out of it. And the loopholes that he will leave in place for that policy will be abused by the rich and the powerful and the people who own accountants. And they will reorganize some of their income and call it tips so that they can dodge taxes, another tax cheat, another tax loophole for the rich. You get nothing. So he makes them feel like he cares for the working class. The next person said, I feel like Trump and you are both real. I think AOC is real. She is saying things that she believes and thinks to be true. But Donald Trump is the most unreal person in existence. Like, none of the things he says are true or real or he even believes are happening. Half the time, when you really drill down on one of those Trump voters, they say that he's joking half the time, and none of the things he says makes any sense. And he's not going to do the things that he says he's going to do. Thomas said that to me a couple of times as well. I bring him on here and I'm like, how is this going to work? And he's like, he's talking shit. He's not actually going to do that. So he's the most unreal. Donald Trump is on stage telling you things that he's not going to do, even though he says he's going to do it. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. And then apparently that's some sort of secret code that I'm supposed to be able to comprehend. I mean, he's not really going to do that. Next person says, you are focused on the real issues people care about, similar to Trump populism in some way. So this person knows what's going on as well. I think they are actually talking about the fake populism that Trump does. You signaled change. Trump signified change. I've said lately, Trump sounds more like you. That's an insane thing to say. AOC sounds nothing like Donald Trump. They are both pushing change. It's just that Donald Trump's change is in the wrong direction. He's running toward bad ideas, where AOC is slowly dragging us towards, painfully, good ideas. And that, I think, is the difference. There's a puppy dog under my feet. I'm going to grab him. Wait, no, he ran off. He's over here. Hi, puppy dog. You want to be on the internet? No, he's shaking his toy. Trump picked Musk. Yeah, we're going to look at that here in just a few minutes. The Department of Government Efficiency. It's going to be a gigantic scam. Spoilers, huge scam. They're going to steal so much tax money and just keep it. It's going to be amazing. Rug pulls all the way down. Non-stop rug pulls. Just one rug pull into the next. It'll be it'll be amazing. And the people will just pay and they'll get nothing. They're just going to steal. It's going to be amazing. And I'm going to point at it and I'm going to laugh. And then everybody's going to come in here. And then you're going to come in here and tell me, no. It's great that he turned the entire federal mail truck fleet into Teslas. And then it's great when he forces everybody to use Twitter to vote. And it's fantastic when he forces everyone to drive a Tesla. And it's great when he skips the FDA approvals for brain implants. It'll be great. It'll be fine. Nothing could possibly go wrong. Waldo, are you a communist? No, I'm a baby-stepping socialist. I've made up the term myself. Figure out I'm a progressive, honestly. But I want to baby step us towards some sort of a socialist ideas. They are the better ideas. So what we need is just a little bit here and a little bit there, a little bit, and then before you know it, we have a lot more socialism, and it'll be great. It'll be good, and the people will love it. But we'll call it Capitalism 2, the sequel, because I'm fine with that. So did you like Bernie? Yes, absolutely. I'm gonna with excellent segue, bowling fan. I'm gonna bring up Bernie right now. We're gonna bring up Bernie right this minute. Here he is, talking some smack. It'll be good. Let's listen to what Byrne has to say. Let's feel that Byrne.
I want to start with the scathing response that you gave after the Democrats lost, Kamala Harris lost pretty big. You said the Democrats abandoned the working class. The chairman of the DNC called it straight up BS and said Joe Biden is the most pro-worker president of my lifetime. Former Speaker Nancy Pelosi said she disagreed with you.
Hey, lady,
she
shut
added,
up. Let
quote,
Bernie talk.
Bernie Sanders has not won. Do you stand by what you said?
Oh, absolutely. Look, Joe Biden is a friend of mine. I've been proud to work with him on an agenda which has been very strongly in favor of the working class. Biden promised to be the most progressive president since FDR in many ways on domestic issues. I think he kept his word. But here is the reality. The working class of this country is angry, and they have a reason to be angry. We are living in an economy today, Donna, where the people on top are doing phenomenally well, while 60% of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. 25% of elderly people are trying to get by on $15,000 a year or less. We have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth, and parents all over this country worry that their kids may have a lower standard of living than they do. That is the economic reality. And what Donald Trump did is provided an explanation. He went around, he said, I know you're angry, and the reason is that zillions of illegal immigrants are coming over, and they're eating your cats and dogs and everything else. That's the reason. Well, obviously, that is not the reason. The reason is, in my view, that we have an unprecedented level of corporate greed today, more income and wealth inequality, and people on top want it all. And we need an agenda that says to the working class, we're going to take on these powerful special interests and create an economy and a government that works for you. And by the way, that can't happen unless you get big money out of politics. We got to get rid of the Citizens United Supreme Court decision so billionaires do not continue to buy elections.
And
The
that
former vice
makes
president,
sense. Hey, shut up. Damn it. I actually did want to see the next one of those. And that makes sense. All of those
I want to start with the scathing response
true.
that you gave after the Democrats lost, Kamala Harris lost pretty big. You said the Democrats.
I don't want this one either.
Well, the Democrats' nightmare is quickly breaking into a kind of in the context of the war.
All right. Sorry, that website sucked ass. Anywho, Bernie's right. He is correct that the people who voted for Donald Trump felt that he was like a better idea. He was a better pick. Here is Gen Z feeling like Donald Trump was a better choice. The youth will not save us. Gen Z's got to be the worst generation of all time, wrote an aggrieved Kamala backer on Twitter in the aftermath of her defeat. Can't read, can't write, can't add, can't fuck, can't joke, can't dance, can't dress, can't drink, can't smoke, can't not elect a fascist. Con man. And this one says, crazy how millennials were the only ones to learn how to use computers, and we apparently are also the only ones who learned to see through the disinformation. So millennials are the only good generation. The baby boomers are poisoned by Fox News. Gen X is poisoned by lead. The millennials are great. The people behind us in the Zoomers, they're all poisoned by TikTok and Twitter. So that's sad. But let's focus back in on what Bernie said. All politics are based on feelings. Trump did not win because of policy. No. He won because he fed his fans, those Zoomers included, feelings, mostly feelings of spite and hatred. Kamala did not lose because of policy. She lost because she did not make her voting base feel anything. She bored them with bland consultant-approved talking points. Nobody likes that shit. She sounded like Hillary Clinton towards the end, and we didn't like her back then. Hi, Carolinas. Thanks for jumping in. She abandoned any of the interesting left-leaning changes she would have made to the government. When she's in the primaries, she talks about left-leaning ideas. She actually pushed for a UBI. Nobody remembers that. That was 4 or 5, maybe. It was 4 years ago, at least. 5, maybe. Where she actually pushed for like a negative income tax. But that would basically just be a UBI. She abandoned all that stuff. She abandoned the idea of banning fracking, because it's bad for us, but she abandoned all those things for the consultant-approved talking points. She didn't offer any bold, exciting changes to the status quo. Stand completely still. I've said this 1,000 times. The Dems would just stand completely still, do the status quo, don't change anything, don't rock the boats. That's not exciting. The people, oh, geez, excuse me. The people don't feel good about that. And because of that, 10 million fewer people felt the need to vote this year. We got 10 million fewer this year than the last presidential election, and that's because she didn't make them feel anything. She seemed like more of the same. Now that all of the numbers are in, we can see that she got 3.3 million fewer votes than Trump. My mission over the next 4 years is to share with people feelings about Trump's administration. Mostly, those will be feelings of trepidation and a little bit of hatred. Thanks for, like Bowling Fan, like I was telling Bowling Fan earlier. Yeah, I am mad that he won, and I pretty much hate it. I can't do much about the tone, you know. The policies he has promised will be mostly vengeful and discriminatory. Most of the things that he has promised to do are vengeful and discriminatory. I can't make those things seem bright or cheerful. Will my politics streams mostly be pointing at the awful things he does? Yes. Is that the same outrage cycle that Fox News has been using for 20 years? Yes, but I'll make mine more honest. And I'm not kidding about or being facetious about the hate. His voters are fueled by hate. They hate the woke, they hate the Dems, they hate the liberals, they hate the feminists, they hate the immigrants, they hate the government, they hate the L's, they hate the G's, they hate the B's, they hate the T's, they hate the Q's, they hate the I's, they hate the A's. The A's kind of deserve it, though. They know what they did. Love did not work for the Dems this time. They tried joy. They tried to be pleasant and happy and upbeat, and it failed. Taking the high road did not work. Michelle Obama told us a few years ago that when they go low, we go high. And I believed her at the time, but it didn't work. The Dems are all going to go around in circles. They went around in circles this past week, and they're going to go around in circles for the next few months, blaming each other, trying to figure out what happened, trying to figure out where they went wrong, the left blaming the center blaming the left. And I expect the center of the Dems to move to the right due to the ratchet effect, as usual. But don't listen to him. Bernie Sanders was right about the Dems abandoning the working class. Bernie got votes from the middle, and he got votes from workers, and he would have beaten Trump back in 2016. I think he would have. But he was bad for businesses' bottom lines. They would have had to pay taxes properly and been regulated, and they hate that. So they donated and backed Hillary, then pressured the higher-ups at the DNC to not support Bernie. That got us Hillary and a loss. But that was the past. What are we doing in the next 4 years? I would suggest be smart, be calm, and hate what is happening to your country. Hate the fascists, hate the neo-Nazis that Trump will appoint to government positions. And when given the chance, tell the people around you that you hate those fascists. Find a centrist and convince them to hate the deportation actions. Find someone who stayed home on voting day and convince them to hate it when Elon steals billions of their tax dollars. Find a Dem-leaning individual and tell them they should hate the concentration camps that pop up. I will spend the next 4 years loudly and confidently pointing to the unconstitutionality of Trump's actions when he takes them. But he hasn't taken any yet. He does not assume the office until January 20th, so those actions are still hypothetical at the moment. But we can look at his most popular stance about mass deportation and easily hate it as it is. Thousands of actions are going to have to take place for it to even happen. And all of them are bad for people and easily criticized. The Republicans will pass the racist law. I hate that. Then those laws will be challenged in court. So then the Donald Trump will just replace the judges. Hate that. Then the Constitution will get in the way with its pesky 14th Amendment. So Trump will have to repeal that. Hate that. Taxpayer money will go towards building concentration camps. Hate that. When the people will start getting rounded up. And yeah, at the beginning, they'll get the scariest looking gang members. But those guys are harder to find. They don't have a 9-to-5. They don't have their references are not all up to date. They don't use regular phones. They have burner phones. They don't pay rent properly. They pay through somebody else or they just stay on somebody else's thing. They avoid being on the grid, on the record. You know what I mean? They're harder to find. But you know who's easy to find? Normal people who overstayed a visa, have a job, working 9 to 5. They're going to be easy to find. And because they pay rent. So regular looking neighborhoods that look just like yours will have armed ICE agents kicking in doors. I'm going to hate that. And if we're lucky, the news and social media will show us some of these awful acts so that we can spread the hatred around, you know. But maybe they will not be allowed to film it because the anchors of CNN have already been arrested and Elon completely controls what is and isn't seen on Twitter. That's a bad time. And I would hate it. Best case scenario, honestly. And I know I've talked a lot of hate, but maybe we can talk some best case scenario. Trump jumps the gun. Umberto Eco's third point of fascism is that action for action's sake is a thing that fascists like to do. Trump has promised that the deportation plans will begin day one, and in their frenzy to deport 30, 40, 50, 70, 80 million immigrants, they might slip up. ICE could arrest normal-looking people in normal-looking neighborhoods and get bad press. They could send too many people to a single holding facility, causing overcrowding and inhumane treatment, which would get bad press. In their haste, they could arrest people before the 14th Amendment has been repealed so that those children born in America are separated from their parents with no recourse, leading to bad press. And this might wake up some of the people in the middle. This might be jarring to the 80 million people who didn't vote this time, because that's the number. 80 million people could have voted and chose not to. Kamala's only under him by 3 million. She still wouldn't have won. She has to get 8 million more, or else you don't get to win the Electoral College because it's a stupid system. But there were 80 million people who chose not to vote. Seeing those things might make them feel bad towards the Trump administration. And hopefully we can point to it and make them feel bad about it, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to point to those things and be like, look at what he's doing. Do you feel bad about that? Don't let him do it. That's if they see it at all, because the press is the next hurdle that Trump needs to deal with. What will happen when they try to record ICE kicking into suburban homes? What will Elon do when people upload videos of immigrant detainment facilities to Twitter? Will he do something about it? I bet he'll remove them. I'm damn sure he will. This is where things get wild and hard to predict. So I'm going to stop predicting here. We're a long way from this happening, but I will be here to watch it when it does happen. And if you are also unhappy, angry, or have hateful feelings towards fascism, recognize them for what they are. You're having feelings, then share them. If you voted correctly, but you're still feeling powerless, share your dislike for the actions Trump is taking. All politics are based on feelings. Share them, and you'll be doing your part. And that was the rant. Let's keep looking at the news. Let's keep looking at the links we got in chat here to look at the other things that's going on. What else have we got going on tonight? What do we got? Trump demands Senate allow him to circumvent hearings to appoint cabinets. To appoint to the cabinet. Trump urges support for Rick Scott, John Thune, and John Cornyn for recess appointments while the U.S. Senate is paused. Amazing. So what he's asking for is fewer roadblocks. Donald Trump has demanded that 3 frontrunners to lead the Senate allow him to appoint officials to his new administration without confirmation hearings on Capitol Hill. As a future Republican government began to take shape in the weeks after his election victory and a demonstration of his political muscle, the U.S. president urged support for recess appointments, which allow the president to make appointments while the Senate is temporarily paused and can be used to circumvent the confirmation process, which can result in appointments being delayed or blocked. So he wants to avoid the confirmation process. Why would he want to avoid the confirmation process? I'll tell you why. It's because he's hiring dipshits who don't know what they're doing and don't know what they're talking about. He is hiring loyalists who don't know how to do the job, but are nice to Trump and say nice things about him in public. Not because they're good at it or because they're going to be able to, it's not a meritocracy. Conservatives scream bloody murder all the time about meritocracy. They hate the woke. They hate the fact that some minority got a job instead of a white man. Where's the meritocracy? Where's the meritocracy in this? Where is it? The skilled people, the people who have the authority and the ability to do these jobs, won't get them because they weren't nice to Trump. You have to kiss his ass, or else you can't get a job in the government. That sounds like wokeism, only worse. It's the evil mirror twin of woke that woke doesn't really exist. There's nobody doing the things that they claim to be doing, but they're going to have its evil meritocracy, the evil twin of meritocracy. The meritocracy is based on dollar bills paid, kind of, but even then, you can still buy it with nice words. If you say enough nice things about Donald Trump, if you support him, if you scream out his talking points loudly as best you can, you don't even need the dollars. You just prove your loyalty, and then you get the job. It's the opposite of meritocracy. Let's see. It also signaled Trump's determination to press ahead with his agenda without being encumbered by congressional oversight, which is mandated by the U.S. Constitution. We know he doesn't care for that thing. Trump's already given out several senior positions in his new administration. Monday, Stephen Miller, Stephen Miller, the Nazi, a senior advisor in his first administration, hardliner on immigration, was in line to become White House Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. Am I worried about that? I mean, I don't want Stephen Miller to have any power. But what power does the Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy have? He's not on the cabinet, so, I mean, that's good. But maybe he's just telling them what to do. I don't know. This seems like a bad time. Tom Homan, a former acting director for Immigration and Customs Enforcement, in his first presidency was announced as a new border czar, spearheading the promised crackdown on immigration. So that'll be awful. Elise Stefanik, a representative from New York whose performance at Capitol Hill hearings on anti-Semitism led to the downfall of 2 Ivy League university presidents, was offered U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. That's not a huge position, so I'm not too worried about it. Is she a horrible person? Yes, I'm sure. What kind of monster would want to work for Trump? But UN ambassador is not that big a deal. Trump's demand for recess appointments, however, was aimed squarely at dominating the future Senate. When the Republicans take control of the chamber in January, they'll have at least 53 of the Senate's 100 seats. Let's see. What else did he say? I think he said something stupid down here. Oh, yeah. Here's what he said. Any Republican senator seeking the coveted leadership position in the United States Senate must agree to recess appointments in the Senate, without which we will not be able to get people confirmed in a timely manner. Why did he say in the Senate? In parentheses. Bro, what do you do? I'm going to be the grammar Nazi now. Any Republican senator seeking the coveted leadership position in the United States Senate. He said Senate twice. Must agree to recess appointments in the Senate. Like, are you worried that they thought you meant recess outside on the park, in the playground, behind the swings, but in front of the merry-go-round? Recess appointment in the Senate. Pay attention, guys. I don't know. I'm just being a grammar Nazi, I suppose. Sometimes the votes can take 2 years or more. This is what they did 4 years ago, and we cannot let it happen again. We need these positions filled immediately. When they took 2 years, they don't take, listen, Donnie, listen, hey, listen. They don't take 2 years if you hire intelligent people who know what they're doing. When you hire bozos, idiots, dipshits, who are only loyal to you and don't know what the job is, it takes longer to get them confirmed because the Senate will say, no, you don't know what you're doing. No, you can't do this job. Can you name the parts of the Department of Education? No, then you can't. Then we're not going to vote for you. He wants to hire ignoramuses to ruin the government because he doesn't want it to function. And when it fails, and it will, he will be there to pick up the pieces, and his corporate buddies will offer a new solution. Corporatism. The CEO of Coca-Cola can just now be the senator for like half the states. It'll be fine. They will replace the failing government with corporatocracy, with leadership run by the corporations, by the richest people of the billionaires, for the billionaires, by the billionaires. That is the goal. Break government so hard that Elon now just gets to run the country because he's the richest. That is what's coming. That is what their plan will lead to if you allow them to completely run away with it, which hasn't happened yet. This is just what I'm thinking is going to happen if they're allowed to run away with it. Robert F. Kennedy is going to be great. He's going to take all the, he's going to dig up your drinking water and your air and your immunizations. It's going to be a mess. Let's see. Anything else here? The senators are all going to be fighting and wrestling. That's fine. So who do we got? Ooh, Trump picks Mike Huckabee as U.S. ambassador to Israel. Mike Huckabee, Arkansas governor, former Arkansas governor, to serve as the ambassador to Israel, a major diplomatic role that will take on added importance amid heightened tension in the Middle East. This guy is awful because he's so religious. He's so hardline, super evangelical Christian. He's not going to do what is best for everyone involved. He has magic Jesus brain that says Jews need to own certain parts of the world to make the magic book happen so that the Bible will become complete and done and finished, and then Jesus can come back and give us all magic powers. It's going to be a fucking shit show. If you thought religious war was bad and stupid before, wait till Huckabee gets involved. He's going to make it worse. He's not going to give a shit about the human beings living there. He cares only about the rapture. He cares only about what Jesus wants to make his book come real. And it's insane. And theocracy is what it will lead to. It will lead to him making decisions not based on what's good for humans, not based on what's good for America, not based on what's good for the country or you. No. He'll base his decisions on what's good for Jesus. And that's fucking awful. Emo Waldo's in chat. Here we go. Emo Waldo's when he complains about the religious people. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to make it so that Jews own the Holy Land completely, so that the Bible will come true, and then Jesus will come back, and it'll do the rapture, and he'll get raptured up into heaven. You know, that's the plan. And the sooner that happens, the better it is for him. Honestly, he's getting old. It's got to happen any minute now. Okay? Damn it. He's the most important person in the world, and he needs this to happen, or else he's been wrong about his religion his entire life. That can't be true. That can't be right. How can that make any sense? Yeah, it was an emo storm. It was. So this is going to go really, really badly. This is going to go so stupid. It's, God, he loves Israel. Yeah, not because he likes the Israeli people. If the Bible told him to wipe the Jews off the map, he would. He does not care for them. He does not give a shit about human beings. Cares only for what is in his magic book and making it come true so that he can be right and correct. Okay. What else do we got? We've got, let's see. Oops, wrong button. Let's go here. Let's kill that. What else is in the cabinet? Trump cabinet picks so far decried as nightmare fuel. The good news is we can win these types of fights to prevent them from being seated. But maybe we can't. Billionaires will fix our economy. That sounds unlikely. Thanks, First Horcrux. Progressive advocates voiced alarm Monday over U.S. President-elect Donald Trump's initial leadership picks, including a border czar who oversaw the separation of migrant families during the Republican first term, amid fresh allegations that 2024 victor's transition team is breaking the law by failing to sign ethics agreements. So they're not signing the paperwork that they're supposed to sign, which is technically against the law, but it's paperwork. The law doesn't matter. Donald Trump doesn't have to follow the laws. Even when he does do crimes, nobody gives a shit. Let's see. Elise Stefanik for the United Nations ambassador. We covered that one. She's a piece of shit. and an idiot. Lee Zeldin for Environmental Protection Agency Administrator. Described by one Trump critic as a fantastic pick to destroy the EPA, Zeldin, a former Republican congressman from New York, has an abysmal 14% lifetime rating from the League of Conservation Voters and is expected to oversee the dismantling of Biden administration climate policies. He's an avid booster of the fossil fuel industry, which has contributed hundreds of thousands of dollars to his campaign coffers and supports extending fracking and offshore drilling. More oil, more carbon, more global climate change. It's going to be great. The EPA, Zeldin could undermine any progress made toward protecting our environment and slowing climate change. And he'll just do whatever with the EPA, whoever pays him the most. If somebody else starts backing him, or if it's good for somebody else's business, they'll suck up to him, and he'll just change the rules so that the CEO of Coca-Cola can determine how much lead is allowed in your drinking water. And then the CEO of DuPont can determine how much poison they pump into the rivers is safe. You know, the government shouldn't be deciding those things, according to them. Kamala had $1.6 billion to spend on her campaign, and now she's $20 million in debt. How do you think she was going to fix our economy? She wasn't going to fix our economy. She was going to let it limp along. Progressives fix our economy, not Dems. $10 million on the Beyonce endorsement, $3 million on Lizzo. I don't know that any of that's real source. She paid Beyonce $10 million to come out there and talk for 3 minutes. Seems unlikely. $3 million that's not how campaigns work. They put on the rallies, and then you pay the thing. Look it up. It's easy to do. Well, you're the one here who's making claims, boss. I haven't heard anything about this. Go to the Discord. You have Google. No, I have a show to do. You can go to the Google. You can go to the Discord right there, and you can leave a link to something that you're talking about. And if it's a fucking Twitter thread, I swear to God. Covered by News Nation and behind paywall at Fox. I don't know. Hop on over to the Discord. If you've got something to share it there. I'll take a look at it. And if it's absolute horse shit, I won't bring it up. Because that's what it sounds like so far. That's not how political endorsements work. You don't just like pay them millions of dollars. But by all means, leave a link to a credible source. What are we talking about? What are we thinking about? The EPA. Oh yeah, it's going to go to shit, and they're just going to poison and pollute, and nobody will care, and you won't be able to do a damn thing about it. Let's see. A climate denier who received hundreds of thousands from fossil fuel companies and polluters will be running the EPA. Trump isn't just a threat to the U.S., he's a threat to the entire planet. Great. Let's see. Tom Homan for border czar. Yeah, he's a piece of shit too. Incoming Trump border czar Tom Homan on blue state governors saying they will protect people from deportation. If you're not going to help us, get the hell out of the way, because we're going to do it. We may have double the number of agents we send to New York City. Okay.
I've seen some of these Democratic governors say they're going to stand in the way. They're going to make it hard for us. Well, a suggestion: if you're not going to help us, get the hell out of the way, but we're going to do it. So if we can't get assistance from New York City, and we may have to double the number of agents we send to New York City, because we're going to do the job. We're going to do the job without you or with you. But it's much easier to arrest a bad guy. Like I just said, we're concentrating on public safety threats of human and national security threats. Right. It's much easier to arrest a bad guy in the jail. Give us access to Rikers Island that we've been kicked out of. Let us get the bad guy in the jail. It's safer for the alien. It's safer for the officer. It's safer for the community. But if you're going to release these bad guys, out in the community, then we're going to have to go find them, which puts the officer at risk, puts the community at risk, and and bottom line is, sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals.
Bad guys in jail. What is he talking about? He's going to go and do some fascism. He's just going to start rounding people up based on their skin color, based on their last names. And if they're American citizens, well, that can get processed out later. Sorry. Shouldn't look like that. And yeah, state rights go right out the window, because conservatives don't actually give a shit about states' rights. They only give a shit about states' rights because they could win state legislatures. if a state like California says, no, we will not work with ICE to get these people out, the conservatives will abandon states' rights and say, you're not allowed to have that state right. That's a state right that you don't get to have. You're only allowed to do states' rights if they're conservative rights. You only get to do conservative things with your states' rights. And the federal government is now a conservative federal government, so they get to tell the states what to do. They don't give a shit. They'll change their mind willy-nilly. What do we got? Let's see. Then what is next? Who's next? Oops. Press that button. There we go. Susie Wiles for the White House Chief of Staff. Can you imagine the woman that works with Donald Trump? God, that must be a terrible, awful human being. There's not a whole lot of women on his campaign, but Susie Wiles has been there for the whole time. She has gotta be some kind of nightmare monster. She's a GOP strategist who has managed Trump's campaign since 2021, even as she worked for the tobacco company. Well, there you go. She works for the tobacco companies. Lobbying to influence Congress on Food and Drug Administration regulations. She's also the co-chair of the lobbying firm. She's a lobbyist. God, she's a double lobbyist. Ugh. Which represents big pharma and junk food companies in apparent conflict with Trump's stated goal to make America healthy again. She's going to cut regulations on tobacco. She's going to lead to cutting regulations on junk food and big pharma. And they're all just going to get to do whatever the damn hell they want. And it won't matter. And Donald Trump will look you in the eye and say, I got rid of that regulation. They poisoned you. This is your fault. You did this. Everything's going to get worse, and he's going to blame me for it personally, specifically. Stephen Miller, the Nazi, for Deputy Chief of Staff Policy. Let's see what this person does, though. I know he's a piece of shit, but what does the Chief of Staff do? It doesn't say here. Elon Musk has been in and out of there. Mar-a-Lago every day. That doesn't surprise me. He's been listening in on phone calls and choosing who's in charge and stuff like that, because of course he is. And so let's see. There's the other one, Pete Hegseth for Defense Secretary. I don't know who that is, but apparently he's on Fox News all the time for Defense Secretary. That's an important one. That's a big one. And I don't trust him because he worked at Fox News for the past fucking decade. Hegseth served as an infantry captain in the Army National Guard and did tours in Afghanistan and Iraq, earning 2 Bronze Stars. He's currently co-host of Fox and Friends Weekends. Pete is tough, smart, and a true believer in America first. Again, if America's first, what does that make every other country? Fucking second. With Pete, they're not going to like that. They don't like that. That makes it really hard to negotiate and do diplomacy. Hey, listen, we're gonna come to an agreement here, and I'm gonna win, and I'm gonna make the most, but you can still get something. Shit way to negotiate, guy. Anywho, what do we got? With Pete at the helm, America's enemies are on notice of what? The violence that we're going to drop upon them, the violence that we will bring upon them. Donald Trump told me he was going to stop wars, not start them. Our military will be great again, and America will never back down from a fight. If we never back down from a fight, that means that there will be more wars. Donald Trump promised me that he wasn't going to start any more wars. And I remember back to the Tulsi Gabbard thing that she mentioned during the Madison Square Garden Nazi rally, that he was going to fight for peace. He won't be starting any wars. This guy, Hedgerow, or whatever the hell his name is, isn't going to be starting any wars. No. Waldo, you idiot. You buffoon. He's not starting wars. He's dropping bombs for peace. He's fighting for peace. Don't you see the difference? Idiot, stupid liberals. He said we'll never back down from a fight, and so we can't back down. That's not a war, even though it's costing thousands of people's lives, and we're murdering people, and the people are dying, and we're spending a ton of money on it. That's not a war. That's us not backing down from a fight. It's some fucking 1984 shit is what it is. Let's see. Nobody fights harder for our troops, and Pete will be courageous and patriotic champion for the peace through strength policy. That peace through strength. I swear to God, that's in 1984. Is that not in 1984, literally word for word? No, it's ignorance is strength. Peace. No, ignorance is strength. War is peace. So peace through strength is, I think, on the same fucking level. Honestly, peace through strength. How do you do strength? By shooting people, by dropping bombs on them, by buzzing murder drones that are flying around above people and dropping bombs on them. But he won't call that a war. No. Those aren't wars. That's just showing our strength. Stupid libs, you don't get it. So let's see what else. Oh, we're going to dismantle the Department of Education. It'll be great. Trump's plan for schools in his second term. Well, actually, you know what? No, we're going to bring that one second. We're going to do that one in a minute, since we're on the military. Trump's draft executive order would create board to purge generals. The plan could upend the military review process and raise concerns about politicization of the military. It's a hard word. The Trump transition team is considering a draft executive order that establishes a warrior board. What do warriors do? They go to war. Donald Trump promised me he was getting rid of war. Of retired senior military personnel with the power to review 3- and 4-star officers and to recommend removals any deemed unfit for leadership. That means they don't say nice things about Donald Trump. If you say not nice things about him, you will be deemed unfit. And they will kick you out of your career. They will remove you so someone else can take your spot. This is not meritocracy. This is the opposite of meritocracy. This is a card check. This is a loyalty check instead of meritocracy. Calling it the new SS. Yeah, it'll be great. Well, it's already got the warrior board, the WB. I don't know. That doesn't sound as good as the SS. I agree. If Donald Trump approves the order, it could fast-track the removal of generals and admirals found to be lacking in requisite leadership qualities. That means kissing his ass, according to the draft of the order reviewed by the Wall Street Journal. But it could also create a chilling effect on top military officers, given the president-elect's past vow to fire woke generals, referring to officers seen as promoting diversity in the ranks at the expense of military readiness. No one's ever done that. No one has ever promoted diversity at the expense of military readiness. It's never happened. They just make it up. Conservatives are full of shit. Woke. Yeah, I hate being awake. Hi, Mouse Eddie. Thanks for coming in. He's gonna fire all the woke judges. All the woke generals, and replace them with generals that kiss his ass. Because we love meritocracy, and the conservatives have been running on meritocracy and hating woke. So there's just a new woke in town. There just is. This is the new woke, folks. This is it. This is the new woke. It's kissing Donald Trump's ass. If you don't do it, you don't get a job. If you don't do it, you can't move up in the military. If you don't do it, you cannot you get tariffs. Honestly, Jeff Bezos, head of Amazon, is going to fucking kiss Trump's ass and then dodge some of the tariffs. The CEO, Elon's already on his thing, but if you ran a company and you got those tariffs, you could probably just get rid of them by kissing Trump's ass. This is the new woke, and it's so much more disgusting than their nightmare version of it. The woke version that the conservatives have been screaming about for years never actually existed. It was never real. It was never true. But they scream about it. They hate 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 wokeism. But it was never actually there. It was never a thing. Nobody ever built it into policy within the United States government. And now there's a new woke, and it's kissing Donald Trump's ass. What do we got? We got as the commander. Wait, hang on. Put it on screen. As the commander-in-chief, Trump can fire any officer at will, but an outside board whose members he appoints would bypass the Pentagon's regular promotion system, signaling across the military that he intends to purge a number of generals and admirals. The Warrior Board would be made up of retired generals and non-commissioned officers who would send their recommendations to the president. Those identified for removal will be retired at their current rank within 30 days. 30 days, and then your ass is dropped. Doesn't matter that you've been there for 20, 25 years and you've done everything you can for the country. Donald Trump is now the country, and that country doesn't want you anymore. Donald Trump is the country now. He's the entire government, top to bottom, whole thing. It's him. Everything he says goes. Everything he doesn't say doesn't go. If he likes it, it goes. If he doesn't like it, it's out. There is no checks. There is no balances. He will simply run it by whim, by decree. He will simply tweet things, and then things will happen. Because he will fill the government with fucking lackeys, with people who do want to make him happy. And they will just break all the laws. They will break all the rules. And who's going to stop them? The judges, though, they got appointed by Donald Trump. The Senate, they're on Trump's side. The House, they're outnumbered. The Supreme Court, fuck all. He appointed 3 of them, and he's about to appoint 2 more. There's no brakes on the Trump train this time. But wouldn't that mess with our military readiness, missing leadership? Yes, it would, Shinzento. They don't give a shit. They will say, we did it. We got rid of the woke. We got rid of the woke. We did it. Now we're going to be better. And then he's going to start a fucking war, and things will go poorly for us. And he'll blame fucking Joe Biden. That's what he'll do. He'll get rid of the people who know what's going on. He will surround himself with idiots. He will fire anybody from the government who knows how to do any damn thing. And then when it falls, when it fails, when it ceases to function, he will blame Joe Biden because he doesn't know how any of this stuff actually works. And the government's actually kind of complicated. It's a big fucking deal. And there's got a lot of moving parts, and you have to be intelligent. And sometimes you have to be patient for things to happen. He's not going to be patient. I remove anyone who's ready to defend America against domestic violence. Yeah. Cheney's back. Blackwater. Is Cheney is back? Well, no, I don't. No, he doesn't like Cheney. Cheney's a neocon, man. No, Cheney was on Kamala's side. Cheney doesn't want to mess with things in America. God, no. He wants to stomp on brown countries and Middle Eastern countries and stuff like that and take all their stuff so that his company can make money. That's what he wants. Donald Trump's going to make that harder. That's why Cheney's against him. Cheney's not against him for morality reasons. Cheney has no morality. He is an amoral actor. He wants to pillage the lesser countries. That's what Cheney wants. He wants to pillage them, take what they have to enrich himself. Donald Trump's going to make that harder because everybody's not going to allow us in. Everyone's going to, we're going to have more isolationism. Every country is on their own now. I was saying he can make more money now. I don't think he can. Dick Cheney's not going to make more money out of this. Everyone's going to be isolationist. Nobody's going to let America build a new base in their country. They're going to start closing American bases in other countries. And Donald Trump's going to call that a win. He's going to start closing foreign bases and stuff like that. He's going to bring people away from there, isolate everybody within their borders, and nobody moves outside their borders until we get a war. But isolationism is the name of their game. America first, everybody else, fuck off, don't care, do your own thing, I don't give a shit. What the people in Kosovo are having a civil war and murdering each other? Who cares? Not our fucking problem. Not America. Go away. Russia takes more land from Ukraine? Not our fucking problem. We don't give a shit anymore. Stay the fuck over there. You take one step onto American soil, and all of a sudden we nuke you, no matter how many of our citizens it kills. But that's the plan. That's isolationism. It's a bad idea. We live on a globe, and that globe is all together. And I think we should work with all the people on the globe. That's called globalism. It's the globalists, folks. They're coming for you. That's why Waldo is always such a globalist. He wants us to work with other countries and talk to them and trade with them. Disgusting. Globalists. And so he's going to end all that. We're not going to do aid for some country on the other side of the planet who just got ruined by a larger country. No. That's your deal. Get the hell away from us. We're not giving you anything. What do we got? What do we got? Okay, so what is the next thing? Dismantling the Department of Education. Trump's plan for schools in his second term. Trump has previously proposed dismantling the Department of Education, and he probably will. It'll be a fucking mess. Trump's Agenda 47 campaign promised eliminating the DOE. Let's see, the DOE established by President Jimmy Carter, blah, blah, blah. Constant restrictions. Okay. Trump's campaign has outlined a plan that features prayer in public schools and expansion of parental rights in education, patriotism as a centerpiece of education, and an emphasis on the American way of life. We're going to look up Umberto Eco's Umberto Eco's 14 points. Here we go. And then we'll find them on Wikipedia. Here we go. And I bring this up all the time because he keeps doing it. So where is... Everybody is educated to become a hero. Number 11. Everyone is educated to become a hero, which leads to the embrace of the cult of death. The fascist hero is impatient to die. In his impatience, he more frequently sends other people to death. So this is what they're going to push on the people. They're going to educate. Trump's campaign has outlined the plan for that features prayer in public schools so that you go to heaven when you die, and an expansion of parental rights in education, letting you choose which which religious school you send your kids to, and patriotism as the center of the education and an emphasis on the American way of life. Christ almighty. He's going to make a bunch of little fascists. That's what he's doing. He's also called for the dismantling of diversity initiatives in education and federal funding cuts for schools or programs that feature critical race theory. None of them do. Gender ideology, some of them do. Or inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content, none of them do. Republican-backed legislation across the country has similarly sought to limit these topics, and the efforts have been criticized for being vague and leading to censorship in the schools and the classrooms on topics concerning race, gender, and politics. You're allowed to censor race, gender, and politics. That's the conservative way, baby. You're allowed to censor anything about race, gender, or politics. You're allowed to censor that. That's icky stuff. The conservatives love it when you censor that shit. You only censorship to a conservative only means Jesus. When you prevent prayer in school, that's censorship. When you try to explain the Civil War was fought over slavery, then all of a sudden you're a fucking woke gender ideologist who is ruining and poisoning kids' minds and indoctrinating them. Let's see. Yeah, fewer books, similar policies, and rhetoric against school content concerning race, gender, sex, and more have coincided with the removal of more than 10,000 books from library shelves over 23 and 24, according to the free expression advocacy group PEN America. So yeah, we're going to have fewer books in school, more Bibles, and more American way of life, which is just going to be fascism. It's just going to be these steps right here. It's going to reject modernism. It's going to fear difference. It's going to, educate you to become a hero. It's going to be filled with machismo and selective populism and a newspeak. Yeah, it's going to have all these things. This is now your curriculum. Read over this, and this is what they're just going to teach in school. This is the new curriculum. Instead of a DOE, you just go here and you do these things, unironically, horribly. And no one will know anything, and no one will be an expert on anything. But you don't need to be an expert on anything anyway, since feelings are all that matter to the conservatives. That's all they care about, how it makes them feel. Race, when you mention racist things that happened in the past, that makes them feel bad. So you're the problem. If you explain to a conservative about the racist past of America, that makes them feel bad, and it's your fault, and you're the one that's harmed them. And they're going to stop that from happening in schools, because we don't want any of the children to feel bad. You see, it all makes sense if you don't think about it. Let's see, what else we got? We got, did I want to watch this? No, that's old. Yeah, here we go. We'll look at that. There's, editor Waldo, put this in with the Mike Huckabee section. I know we left Mike Huckabee a few minutes ago, but I'm gonna editor Waldo is gonna sync these things up within the YouTube video.
And the fears that it could become a much, much bigger war. This reporting is so crucial. What more do you know about what Mike Huckabee has said?
Right, and this nomination of Mike Huckabee as ambassador to Israel, this is a extremely hawkish pick by President-elect Trump. He has a track record of highly polarizing comments on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. These views go back years, with him repeatedly questioning the legitimacy of a Palestinian state on the border with Israel. He has said that if a Palestinian state were to be created, it should be not created where it is now. It should be created with land from the neighboring countries, Syria, Jordan, Egypt. He even described the Palestinian identity in one of the clips he found as, quote, a political tool to try and force land away from Israel. Now, I first obtained these comments we're about to hear when he ran for president in 2016. Just take a listen to them right now.
Basically, I mean, there really is no such thing as, and I have to be careful in saying this because people will really get upset. There's really no such thing as a Palestinian. There's not.
Who are all those people there then, Mike? Who are those people? What do you want to do with them? You want them to die. That's what you want. You want them to shut up and die so that you can get the magical Jesus superpowers that you think are going to come to you when all those people are dead. God, it's going to create a holy war. It really is. If you thought holy wars were dumb, wait until Mike Huckabee gets involved. Good God. Jesus Christ. Yeah. All right, hang on one sec. Let me get a drink. I have an ocean water. See, you know it's from the ocean because it's blue. I walked down to the ocean, just filled that cup with straight ocean water. What else is in the news today? Here we go. President Trump has tapped Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, Vivek the Fake, to lead the DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. Their mission will be to dismantle government bureaucracy, slash excess regulations, cut wasteful expenditures, and restructure federal agencies. Dismantle government bureaucracy. That means fire anybody they don't like. Slash excess regulations means any regulation to any business anywhere that costs them money. They're going to just do whatever makes them the most money. You know whose company is going to lose regulations first? Elon's companies. They're just going to cut anything that costs them money. OSHA, gone. Workplace, dangerous workplace, fuck you. It's on your own. It's your fault if you get hurt. Cut wasteful expenditures, which means anything the fuck they want. Restructure federal agencies in any way they want. They are in charge of the government now. I'm screaming bloody murder about Donald Trump, but Elon has created a second secret breakaway government. Elon Musk said this will send shockwaves through the system and anyone involved in government waste, which is a lot of people. The DOGE will provide advice and guidance from outside the government. From outside the government? It can't be a department of and outside the government. Christ alive, these people are fucking retarded. I'm going to get booted for saying that. They're fucking dipshits. Outside the government, but they're the department. Are they a department? A department is a government agency, dude. It's a part of anything that's a department is a part of the government. But they're outside the government. Which is it? You can't be both. You can't be inside telling them all what to do, firing everybody, and dismantling the government bureaucracy, and not part of the government. It doesn't work. Fucking dipshits. God. They're going to wreck our entire damn country. They're going to start chopping off entire limbs. People are going to suffer. And then Donald Trump's going to go on the news, look into the camera, and tell you Joe Biden did this. That's what he's going to do. Not in Trump's America. Say all the fucked up shit you want. Cancel culture is dead. No, not for liberals. No, if you say fuck Trump or fuck Elon, you're going to go to jail. They're going to start blackbagging CNN, reporters who report on these things. How does an immigrant know about how the inner government workings of our government works? Exactly. What does that got to do with all those the 80 million immigrants who are ruining the country? Nothing. They're full of shit. They've been lying to us. Oh no. Who could have seen this coming? The DOJ, if it is a government agency, will have to be passed through the Senate to set up a new agency or some shit. If it's not, if it is an outside entity, then it won't do anything. They'll just make suggestions and tell you what to cut. And then the Senate will still have to pass it, which means they might not. So we've got two different diverging timelines here. And I can't tell which one's real and which one isn't because these fucking idiots don't actually know how to run anything. Timeline A, this is a government department. It's called the Department of Government Efficiency. Great. Doge. Very funny. You're so hilarious, Elon. Let that sink in. By carrying a sink, it's not even a fucking joke. All right. Anyway. They create the Doge as an actual department. They staff it. They get a budget. They have they have to follow the rules of being a department agency. And they actually have authority from the executive to chop these things off and fire these people. The government ceases to function. We lose a lot of functionality. We lose a lot of good people. We lose a lot of the bureaucratic state that is necessary for a government this big. There are 350 million fucking people here. There's a shitload of shit going on, and there's a shitload of shit to be done. They're not going to do it. They're not going to get to do any of those things. It'll just chop people off, chop off entire branches. People will show up and just not have a job anymore. And then who's going to pick up the slack? Nobody. Nobody. Apparently they weren't doing anything. And that's what he'll tell you. Elon will come on TV and tell you, here's what we did. Here's all the people we laid off. Here's all the people we got rid of. And it saved us $10 billion. And then we're going to figure out, hey, we really did need that. We really wanted that. That was something useful. And you have to drive forward and we have to recreate it. Poorly, ugly, nasty, it'll just go badly. Because then the Senate will have to determine how to reappropriate that shit. It'll be a mess. It'll be a fucking mess. We're going to chop limbs off, and then the Senate's going to fucking sew them back on. What kind of madness is this? Timeline B will be, it's not actually a government department. They're just sitting around jerking themselves off like a fucking think tank, telling Donald Trump what he ought to do with the executive. And if he does it, then the Senate's going to have to vote on those things. The agencies are going to have to vote on those things. The Senate and the judiciary can make decisions about government agencies. They can appropriate money. They can take away money. They can close entire branches and stuff like that. And they've always had that power. And this is nothing. This is literally nothing. It's a think tank that makes suggestions towards Donald Trump. It's almost like private sectors would benefit from this. Yeah, if they actually get rid of regulation. And I don't know that they will. I mean, if the Doge isn't part of the government, they won't do shit. They'll just talk. Jab, 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 jab. That's what I'm doing. I'm as much in charge of the fucking government as they are. You know, they won't accomplish anything. They won't do anything. They'll write things down. They'll come up with cool names. Project Thunderhawk. And Project Thunderhawk will be about killing this one specific regulation for electric batteries. And then they'll give Project Thunderhawk to Trump, probably hand deliver it to him, and then he will pass that off to the Senate. And then the Senate will do what the Senate always does. How does this benefit me? How does this get me paid? You'll get 53 Republicans who are like, how the fuck does this get me paid? Passing Project Thunderhawk. Oh, it doesn't? Well, then it doesn't pass. That's what'll happen if it's not an actual government entity. If it is a government entity, the Senate would have to get through the Senate to create this department, and then they would have to appropriate it a budget. It will take a year or two, honestly, at least. Even in the very fast-moving Republican thing, it'll take a while to get there. And once they're done, once they're stood up, then they might actually have some authority, some power to kill some regulations and stuff like that. But even then, it might still have to go through the Senate. This Doge thing is either going to be so illegal that it never functions, or just farting into a wind, just yelling into the rainstorm. Open your window, scream about what you want to happen, close the window. Maybe it'll happen. I mean, it might be literally nothing. It might just be him giving ideas to the government on how they ought to operate, in which case they won't do it because they won't want to, unless they really want to. But even if the Senate wanted to do a thing, they already would have done it. The Senate doesn't like doing things. The Senate doesn't want to do stuff. God, no. They hate doing stuff. They hate doing stuff. They just want to sit completely still, talking to a camera, tell you how they feel, and then go home. They don't want to vote. They don't want to decide regulations. Gross. That's nerd shit. They don't want to learn about new fields of study and determine how much lead parts per million belong within drinking water. They don't want to know any of that shit. They just want to look into the camera, tell you how they feel, and then go home with a very large paycheck and make lots of money on stocks. That's what they want. They're not going to take Elon's suggestions and then vote on them if he's not part of the government. So this is just a fucking shit show. I don't know which side of this married bachelor we are on. This is a married bachelor. The Department of Government Efficiency will be to dismantle government bureaucracy, slash regulations, cut wasteful expenditures, and restructure federal agencies. You can't restructure a federal agency if you are not in the federal government. The Doge will be providing advice and guidance from outside the government. Then you're not doing any of these things. If you are outside the government, you can't do any of these things. They're dipshits. I don't know which side of this married bachelor we're on. Maybe fucking Charlie Kirk's just a fucking dipshit, and I'm reading his words, and I shouldn't be. Maybe I'm getting spun up about Charlie Kirk being a dipshit. I'm pleased to announce. Okay, so this is from Trump. I'm pleased to announce the great Elon Musk, working in conjunction with American patriot Vivek the Fake Ramaswamy, will lead the Department of Government Efficiency. Together, these two wonderful Americans will pave the way for my administration to dismantle government bureaucracy, slash excess regulations, cut wasteful expenditures, restructure federal agencies, essential to save American movement. They will send shockwaves through the system and anyone involved in government waste, which is a lot of people, stated Mr. Musk. It will become potentially the Manhattan Project of our time. Republican politicians have dreamed about the objectives of Doge for a very long time. To drive this kind of drastic change, the Department of Government Efficiency will provide advice and guidance from outside the government and will partner with the White House and Office of Management Budget to drive large-scale structural reform and create an entrepreneurial approach to government never seen before. Which means it's still going to have to go through the Senate. It's still going to have to go through the budget. It's still going to have to go through the Office of Management, which means it probably, odds are, I'm thinking, it'll do nothing. And I'm not even kidding about that. I think this will just do nothing. It will accomplish none of the things. Pelosi made more net profit than any other politician in history. Yes. Well, no. Donald Trump made like $3 billion while he was president last time. Trump made shitloads. Don't worry about that. And Elon's about to make shitloads, and Trump's about to get a whole lot of money. They're about to rob the entire country. Pelosi was making that money on the stock market. She wasn't stealing from taxpayers. Elon Musk is about to start stealing from taxpayers. He's going to start creating government projects. Tax money will be sent to his company, and he will give them, the taxpayers, as little as possible. All this guy does is speak nonsense. I'm speaking the truth. You just don't know it, Kyle C. You've never seen the truth. You don't know what the truth is. You wouldn't know the truth if it ran a podcast. So what's going to happen is Elon Musk is going to give his company, if he's in the government, He's going to give his companies giant government contracts, and he's going to give to the taxpayer as little as possible. No, these are just hypothetical guesses based on their previous actions. Nobody has a crystal ball, Kyle C. Nobody knows what's going to happen. I'm making predictions. Predicting is hard, especially the future. So I'm assuming this is what's going to happen. You can yell at me about that if you like. The Doge, according to Elon, isn't part of the government, which means it won't have any power. If it's in the government, it will still have to go through the Senate to get created, and then once they're in place, they won't have anything. I think it's all just talk. If he's in the government, he's going to give himself lots of money, and he's going to steal lots of tax money. That's the way Elon will run this thing. Nobody but me is watching your podcast. I know. Well, tell your friends, Kelsey. Tell them to come by, and I'll set them straight too. What am I thinking about? What am I thinking about? What was the thing? And now nobody's watching it. Oh my God, Kyle, you got me. You got me. Oh my gosh. Okay, so always the weirdos coming out of that. Yeah, I know. And these guys don't exist anymore. Yeah, you guys aren't here, and he's not here to hear you because he won the argument by running away. I hear the argument from the conservative side. Waldo, you're overreacting. This guy thinks that I'm overreacting. Trump didn't implement fascism last time. Well, that's because the neocons were still there and mostly in charge. The Mitt Romneys and the John McCains were still there to prevent his worst ideas. The generals stopped him, but that's not going to happen again. The courts still functioned, but that's not going to happen again. And the press was not worried about being blackbagged for bad-mouthing him. They are now. All those protections are gone. All the neocons have been run out of the party. Trumpism is the entire government now. The authors of Project 2025 know who to put into every position to get the things they want. They know every judge that's going to stand in their way and how to sidestep them. They have had years to plan and organize this. And they have all 5 branches of the government. Stupid Waldo, there's only 3 branches. Nah, man, there are 5. The legislative, that's Congress, they draft the laws. The executive, that's the president who enforces the laws. The judicial, that's the courts who interpret the laws. Then there's the media, which informs the people. And lastly, there's capital, which pays everyone. And that is by far the most powerful of our branch of our government, the capital branch. You can't run a campaign without billions of dollars. Not even Trump can get those billions of dollars without promising thousands of donors exactly what they want to hear to make their bottom lines go up. He met with those oil executives and he promised them that he would remove the regulations that are hurting their bottom lines. That is how you get elected. They are the 5th branch of the government. And that gets me to my next rant. The government is now of the billionaires, for the billionaires, by the billionaires. The people who voted for Trump did so because they feel like the economy is bad for them. And as I've said in the past, the economy is just feelings. Top to bottom, whole thing. Just feelings. Don't trust anybody who tells you that the economy is facts, figures, logic. No, that's nonsense. It's all feelings. And those people are right to feel the way that they do. Prices are up. But I would suggest, like Bernie did a couple hours ago, that it's the company's fault and not the government's. It's up to each party to create the message about what the problem is and what they want to do about it. And the Republicans have the advantage in this area because they don't have to say true things. They can make up any nonsensical lie that they want. Elon will broadcast them as facts, and then the people can feel the right feelings to vote for Trump. In reality, his tariffs will increase all the prices of everything in the entire world. But if Elon makes people feel good about that idea, they'll vote for it. If a company raises prices to increase their CEO's pay, Trump and Elon can make people feel like that's Biden's fault somehow. And if anything goes wrong, Trump and Elon can just blame Biden's inflation because the uninformed American voter just thinks that there's a knob in the Oval Office that controls the gas prices and the inflation, and Biden turned the knobs up because he hates America. They can dupe those same people anytime they need because there are 2 economies. There's one for the rich and the powerful. That's the stock market. That's the all the people who are buying and selling securities and giant corporations and stuff like that. That's one economy, and it's doing great. I think we can see the stock market went up once Donald Trump won, right? Let me Google that real quick so we can look at the numbers. And then there's a second economy, which is where you and I live, where people live. It sucks. The prices go up, you don't get to do shit about it. Prices, if your wages go down, you don't get to do shit about it. You fuck off. That's what you do. Stocks rise when Trump elected. Let's see. Wait, what does this one say? This one says stocks soared on news of Trump's election. So, let's look over here. Let's go to the window capture. Bam. Stocks soared on news of Trump's election. Bonds sank. Here's why. Well, they're both imaginary. That's why. As Donald Trump emerged victorious in the presidential election Wednesday, stock prices soared and the stock market rose. The bond market fell. Stocks roared to record highs Wednesday in the wake of news that Trump's triumph, signaling an end to the uncertainty in the election cycle and perhaps a vote of confidence in his plans for the national economy, some economists said. Uncertainty, that is a feeling. Confidence, that is a feeling. Some economists said, because you can never get two economists to agree on fucking anything. In the same day, the yield on 10-year Treasury bonds rose to 4.4. Higher bond yield means a declining bond market. Bond prices fall as yields rise because they're long-term. The long-term looks shit for our country. The short-term looks great. Trump campaigned on a promise to keep taxes low. He also proposed sweeping tariffs on imported goods. Economists predict a widening deficit in Trump's presidency. Of course, it will. $1 trillion in debt. Tariffs, meanwhile, could reignite inflation, which the Federal Reserve has battled to cool. So the economy is whatever we feel it is. If you're a billionaire and you're making lots of money on stocks and you are running a scam, you're buying things low, you're selling them when they're high, you're scamming. You're just playing in a casino based on human feelings. When they feel confident, the numbers go up. When they feel trepidatious, the numbers go down. Did that increase the amount of work that they did? No. Did that change the price of any of the parts that they were bothering with? No. Did it make it easier to dig rocks up out of the ground? No. It's just a feeling, which is why I keep saying that the economy is based on feelings. And those people who run those scams feel really good in the short term that things are going to go up. They're going to get more. I think Bitcoin even went up in price because they feel like he's going to remove those regulations. He's going to make it easier to buy and sell those Bitcoins, baby. Because Bitcoin is a scam, you see. All the scams are through the roof for the next few years. If you've got a scam, it's going to be making lots of money. Bitcoin's a scam. NFTs will probably come back. Fuck me. NFTs are going to come back. They're going to come back. They were gone for a little bit, but they're going to come back because they're a giant scam. And we're going to live in the scam economy. That's what's coming. The scam economy, where you just steal from poor people. Don't steal from a rich person. They'll fucking sue you and you will be miserable. Steal from poor people. Just steal. Find some way to take some sort of wealth from a poor person. Create junk fees. Create fake enrollment fees. Create just extra fees, hidden fees. Hide that shit anywhere, everywhere. It doesn't matter. Just steal from the people as much as you can for the next few years. Because once Trump's gone and everybody sucks and everything is miserable and everybody hates it, somebody's going to come in and corral that shit. So make your money while you can. Are you saying my Trump JPEGs are a scam? Yes. And if you've got them, hang on to them now and start selling them in the next few weeks or something. January 20th, try and sell some of the Trump JPEGs. It'll be really good. Points in my own chat are going to be a currency. So Shinsedo, do me a favor, do exclamation points in chat right now, and we can see how many digital Waldo dollars you have. This is a actual cryptocurrency that exists. You mine it by showing up to streams and doing the thing right here. You have 0 points. Shit. No, you have 9,330 points. That's a lot. So you got a lot of Waldo points. I'm not sure what this is. Well, Stream Elements. Stream Elements. We use Botrix around here. Ponathan, if you put in exclamation points, it'll tell us how many points you have. They are an actual legitimate cryptocurrency. Ponathan has 1,940 points. Look at you. You mine these points by typing into chat. Every time you chat, you get another 5 points. So those can be traded in. If you take 1,000 of these points and $6 to a Starbucks, they'll give you a cup of coffee. It's quite the deal. Time for some spam. Yeah, exactly. That's the point. KPP is way ahead of you guys. Doesn't seem to be in chat tonight, but he is way ahead. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's a competition, but he does have the most points. But anyway, yeah, you take 1,000 of those and $6. You can go into Starbucks and get a coffee. It's great, and it's a functioning economy at this point. Honestly, someday maybe I'll do something with them when I have something interesting. And this is actually my job instead of just my hobby. If this turns into a job, I'll do something with those. How about that? I'll make that promise. If this turns into my job and people start paying me for it, I will. Ponathan and Shinsedo, you both already pay me for it, but we need a few more. As soon as I get hundreds of people paying me for it, then I'll turn to do something with those points. It's not a competition, but Waldo loves KBP more than. Yeah, I mean, he has the most points. I'm not making it a competition for my love, but he does have the most points. I don't know a nicer way for me to put this. So let me see what is going on. Oh, I got one message in there. Ponathan left us something in the public stream links. So I'm going to copy it and I'm going to pasta it into the browser so I can look at it. We're going to copy. We're going to go right here and we're going to pasta, hit enter, and see what do we got. Well, that didn't show up properly. Oh, because I left part of it off. Okay. I'm going to copy it again. I copied badly. Oh, that was from the weirdo earlier. Oh, I see. I'm going to pasta. We're going to hit enter. And the New York Post. Trump trolls. Debt-ridden Harris camp urges GOP to do whatever we can to help them after it's revealed VP owes $20 million. Well, that doesn't surprise me. That guy said billion, did he not? I'm quite sure he did. Half his messages didn't show up in chat, but yeah, he said something about billions, not billions. It seems to be millions. And Hillary owed $5 million to herself when she finished her run too. President-elect Donald Trump trolled, urging the GOP to do whatever it can to help them. I'm very surprised. A Democrat who fought hard and valiant fight, 20 presidential election, lost left over. Squeeze vendors, unity. Yeah, this doesn't say anything about paying Beyonce to come out and say things. 20 million in debt is right as normal. That's the way of the world now. This isn't an unusual thing. Her election eve concerts, which featured Bon Jovi, Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, cost the same amount, and now staff and vendors fear they won't be paid. Harris Camp also spent a whopping 6 figures building a set for her appearance on Call Her Danny podcast, which attracted a fraction of the viewership of Trump's appearance on Joe Rogan. So they're paying to build things. These are jobs, man. If she had just not gone into debt, it would have been a little bit better. That doesn't mean $1 million loan was given to Oprah Winfrey's production studio. Staffers told the Post and the lavish concerts were a disaster for the campaign's finances. So they paid her production studio to produce a show. That's how you make shows, man. Many can't buy you love or a good candidate, blah, blah, blah. Trump campaign alleged Trump did not comment for the story. Yeah, this doesn't mean he just gave her $1 million to put in her pocket. Gave her production studio some money to produce a show. Now, you can say that was poorly planned and they didn't do $1 million worth of work. Entirely possible. But that's different than just giving it to them. Doesn't matter if it's true. The accusation is the only thing that matters. That's right. The accusation is all that matters. And we'll be hearing about that. I'll probably be hearing about that for the next fucking 10 years as I do streams. Oh, he gave Beyonce $10 billion. Kamala gave Beyonce $10 billion. Like, what? Fucking, can you prove it? No, it doesn't matter. You read it on Twitter? Okay, well, great. And Twitter's now the de facto fact-checking part of the universe. It's where we will decide all government funding bills. The Senate will just open up Twitter and read what's on there, and then whatever it says, they'll do. It'll be a great way to run a country. It'll be fantastic. Is it going to be a new buttery mouse? Yeah, maybe. Well, she lost, and it won't matter. They were really mad about Hillary. They've been hating Hillary for a fucking decade. Since the 90s, they've been hating her. So all through the 2000s, all through the 2010s, they really hated her. And they finally got something on her. So did Hillary. Hillary hated Hillary too. They really hated her. And they've been hating her since the 90s. And so they finally got something to bitch about. Something actual, real. I mean, honestly, they talk about the kill list and all the people who've died, but they stick to buttery males every time because that's real. See, the butter emails are a thing that you can actually criticize. The imaginary thousands of people that she murdered aren't real. You can't really get mad at her for murdering leprechauns. They're not a real thing. The kill list, but can't name a real person. Right. Well, yeah, the kill list is pretty long, and it's got lots of people who died from natural causes or car accidents, but those were caused by her. See, those people weren't. The official narrative is that he died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. But you see, Hillary actually held the gun in his hand and forced him to push the trigger. Yeah, it's a whole thing. And that was Seth Rich, and that's the only name they know. That's the only one they need because the Hillary kill list is 7,000 people long, and you don't have time to look at all of them. It's just a mess, and it's not based on reality. It's based on feelings and vibes. They really want to hate her because of the things she says and does, and that makes them feel bad. And instead of learning why that makes them feel bad, they just blame and hate and spread lots of little shit everywhere. So what time is it? It is 8:30. I could do one run through of Halls of Torment. I think I will. Let's do Halls of Torment. Don't forget that TTS is still up, so you can do exclamation TTS, and then the lovely cousin of Canooch will come out and tell us a thing. I still have an issue that I cannot solve with the whole TTS thing. It works right now on Kick and Twitch, but it will not work for YouTube. Come on, man. Computer, what are you doing to me? But let's see what else happens. It better work after I just said it. It's not going to work. I swear to God it worked when I started the stream. I swear to you it worked. Oh, you know what? I had my browser closed. Try it again, Shinsinto. I think that browser actually has to stay open. I think it actually has to stay open. I closed the browser that the widget goes through. Maybe that's why it doesn't function. But your goofs, yeah, no, I know. Your goofs were good. It was a good goof. It really was. It won't work there either. Son of a bitch. Man, I swear it did actually work. I swear, I'm not making that up. It actually did work earlier today. Dude, I do nothing and it ceases to function. I don't know what to do with this thing, honestly. Well, this can't be my fault. There's no way this is a thing I'm doing. Thanks for nothing, stupid robot. Exactly. Like, it can't be my fault. I don't understand how it could be. Like, I do nothing and things change. Like, Steam won't load up. Come on, Steam. Why do you make me look stupid? It's 8:35 anyway. I think I'm about to call it off. I didn't have Steam ready to go. I didn't have the game up and running. That's enough fail for tonight, isn't it? I think I've failed enough tonight. I'm going to call it off. I had a good time. Thank you for coming. Thanks for being here, Shinsinto. Thanks for being here, Ponathan. I'm going to call it off for the night. I will be back on Thursday night with more stuff to talk about, with more pointing at Donald Trump's failures, with more hating of his turn towards fascism. Maybe TTS will work. Maybe it won't. Probably not. Odds are. I mean, honestly, historically speaking, it's not going to work. Ponathan just cheered 10 bits and we didn't get the sound. God, that thing is failing so hard. And I don't know why it fails so hard. I don't get it. I really don't. That thing has never failed before. Thank you very much, Ponathan. I appreciate you. And you know what? Just because I feel bad for you tossing in 10 bits and not getting anything, what I'll do is we'll turn on the anime here. So I'm sorry that it doesn't work. I'm sorry that the thing doesn't work. I'm sorry that the TTS where it doesn't work. I'm sorry that Joe Biden you didn't get to hear the laugh, but maybe this will make it up to you. I'm sorry. Thank you. And I will be back on Thursday with more, more stuff. If you want to talk about, he's not up here. I don't know where he is. He has not come to me all night long. He's probably downstairs asleep or something. Yeah, no, he does. I'm not in charge of him. He runs around wherever he wants. He goes wherever he feels like going. He's a free bird. Okay. If he feels like coming over here, he comes over here. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I'm not going to force it on him. I understand how consent works. So what do we got? We've got, if you head over to the Discord, you can tell me what to talk about. You can tell me what links to bring up on screen. You can tell me what's going on within the world, but I should spell it properly. Discord. You can go there and leave links. If you want to watch old YouTube videos, you can do that on the YouTube link right there. That'll go to my channel where I turn all the best bits from this stream into a YouTube video. Why did I do it twice? My bots are broken today. My bots are crazy today. Anywho, that's it for me tonight. I'm going to go beat my bots, I suppose. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. Thanks for everything. And I will see you guys later on Thursday. I'll have some more stuff to talk about. So if you got anything to talk about, well, Thursday's the day. Thanks. And I'm going to get